Welcome back. Let's now take you back to Cape Town, where rescue operations are on standby after several incidents have been reported involving hikers. Our reporter Nasiphi Same is at an emergency services and joins us live now. Earlier, Nasiphi, when we were speaking, we saw it live in action as members of emergency services were headed to a call-out. Just give us an update, firstly, I think, on the patient that was called out there. I believe it was in Lion's Head.
Well, I mean, those are just what is currently happening in the city of Cape Town or in the Western Cape. The call-outs coming in thick and fast. As I mentioned earlier on, there were about 2 calls. The team at some point was on standby, and we saw them taking off from the Cape Town International Airport precinct. And fortunately for us, they have returned in just under an hour, and they will be able to paint a clearer picture for us when it comes to that particular emergency. I am joined by David Bruiners, who is from AMS, who is an external load and emergency care technician. Mouthful. David, thank you so much for joining us. You guys left here around 25 minutes past 1, and you came back in just under an hour. Talk to us about that particular emergency. How is the patient doing?
So obviously from my side, I get to see a very little bit of the patient. But the patient was handed over to a ground ambulance. So what basically happened was a paraglider that had a crash landing close to Lion's Head, where they normally launch. So we were activated because it was quite a tricky area for ground personnel to go in and get him out. So we were there. We send all the equipment that they will need down to them, and then just give them time to get him into the stretcher, hoist him out, and then hand him over to a ground ambulance.
You make this sound very simple. I know for a fact that I would not be able to do that. But if you could just paint a picture for our viewers. I mean, we saw you guys leaving. Initially, we were supposed to have an interview, but everything happened so quickly. When you arrive at the scene, what is it that you do as David in assisting the team?
So my role as an external load operator, I'm pretty much the eyes and the ears of the pilot. So where we normally go and do these rescues, the pilot have to maintain a very, very steady platform for us to be able to conduct this hoisting. So I am the safety officer on board. I make sure that everybody is safe on board the aircraft, and then to facilitate a safe rescue evolution by means of hoisting. What I always try and do when I get there, we need to create that picture. So we look at the scene from the air. We communicate that between myself and the pilot, and then we devise a plan that we can execute in order to get the patient and the rescuer safely in and out.
That was done in less than an hour. You arrive at the scene, all of this is done very quickly, but we understand, speaking to Garth here, that you guys take sometimes 10, at times 5 minutes to get ready and ready after a call. Talk to us about when you do then arrive back after the emergency call out. What is it that you do?
Look, so after rescue, because our platform is both medical and rescue, so after the call, we need to clean the aircraft, we need to configure it back to the medical configuration. So all the equipment need to be cleaned, all the equipment need to be repacked, and we need to be ready for the next call.
And I'm assuming the radio doesn't switch off?
Absolutely not, especially this time of the year.
Yeah. Have we received any calls possibly now that there could be possibly an emergency for you guys to idle in the interim?
Not, but we are monitoring the channels always, both on the WhatsApp platforms and on the radio itself.
Garth, I'm going to have to bring you in. We had a conversation earlier. Garth Moys from AMS as well, who is the Western Cape Regional Manager. Garth, we were talking that AMS is contracted by the Western Cape Health and Wellness Department, and you're in collaboration with the various stakeholders. But talk to us about your role in the broader scheme of things, the advantage of having aerial support when it comes to tricky terrains such as Lion's Head and the many other mountains or mountainous areas that we have in the Western Cape.
Yes, so my role is to facilitate the contract for the Western Cape Department of Health Emergency Medical Services. So we ensure that we are ready to respond when they need us to. We will help coordinate the transfer of patients, and the time is what is life-saving here. So we need to make sure that we can act quickly, that we can get to the patient, whether they're in a hospital that's in a very small town, in a rural community, if they're on the side of the road, if they're in a wilderness area, or if on the mountain, or even if there's a drowning in progress, that we can get our teams together with the Western Cape Department of Health, their medical services and their rescuers, and also the volunteer organizations as well, who also contribute. So it really is to coordinate a team effort, because every person's role is critical. We spend lots and lots of hours training and preparing and researching and seeing, what we need to do in order to render a better service, because just finding that extra 1% reduction in time can really be the difference between life and death for patients in the Western Cape.
Garth, quite interested now. You speak of the work that you do. How busy has the festive season been? Has it been as busy as, what we think it has been? Looking also at the statements that we've seen in terms of the call-outs that you have received, and also some of the fatalities in various parts of the mountains this past festive.
So it's been pretty similar to the last 2 to 3 years in terms of the number of call-outs. There have been some quite critical incidences this December. January usually is, on the mountain rescue side, generally is our busiest month. So we're expecting more incidents to occur, but we're ready for those that happen.
And why is January so busy when it comes to the call-outs and the emergencies?
I think it's because of the number of people who are in the Western Cape. And I think December perhaps focuses on a bit of family and festive season preparation, and then people want to get out and about. The weather's really good in January, and the more people that we have, I think there are also a lot of overseas visitors who might stay home for Christmas and New Year, but then people want to enjoy what's left of their holiday. So it's just a lot of people on the mountain, a lot of people traveling, a lot of people away from home, and that correlates with a high number of incidents.
And Veronica, the noise that you were hearing is David's radio, the infamous radio, as we heard earlier on, that they are monitoring the situation. Listening to Garth now saying that a January period tends to get a lot busier, as we know that during the festive season, people are spending time with their loved ones and away possibly from the mountains. However, they are ready, on high alert, including the radio there going off. I'm assuming that David will have to, start monitoring those calls. However, we know that the helicopter has already been prepared for any eventualities or any emergencies that could come in. They left here around 24 minutes past 1, and they returned, at 22 minutes past 2 o'clock. And that also just talks to the agility and speed that this team is working in, collaborating with various stakeholders, Western Cape Health Department, coordinating on the ground and, aerial support as well to ensure that they minimize time and ensuring that patients are rescued in record time, but also where they are unable, rather ground support is unable to reach, they then, step in and play that role. We heard from David there, his role in the equation when it comes to when they do arrive at the scene, coordinating and assisting his team members.
Yeah, and Nasiphi, such an important aspect and I think element to the story, because we often speak about, EMS teams are on high alert during the festive season, but we don't really see the men and women behind the hard work during the festive season, their dedication as well. I think from us here at Newzroom Afrika, just give them a big thank you for their work during the festive season.